Vaughn Crowder with Idearella here for my first video blog post. I wanted to talk about situations where you could feel intimidated. Now, these are not situations where you're intimidated by an actual person because they're a bully or they're mean or angry or a jerk. These are actual situations where you would feel intimidated just by the situation. For instance, making your first video blog post might be a situation where you're a little bit intimidated or nervous. Another one would be a job interview, first day of a class, things like that. Different people have different strategies for dealing with those intimidating and stressful situations. Some people imagine the person across the table in polka-dotted underpants. Some people look right above their heads or right past them so they don't have to make eye contact. The strategy I'm going to propose today is that you simulate or imagine or even do something in reality to set it up as if the person that you're speaking with has seen you at your absolute worst. One of those situations happened to a friend of mine who is a salesman. He had a long drive to a client, and it was something like a few hundred miles, and apparently his digestive tract wasn't playing nice on that day. So he had a bit of an accident, and when he got there, he just told the client, hey, look, this is what happened. They had a good laugh, and it sort of broke the ice in the strangest of ways, and everything went very smoothly. He ended up getting the sale. I had a similar situation when I was online dating. The first time I met a man face to face, he and I sat at a coffee shop. We were drinking coffee, and he looked at me after about 5 minutes of conversation and said, this is going to sound really weird. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? This is going to sound really weird, but I think that you were my finite math teacher. At first, I didn't know what to think about that. And instantly, there was this feeling of calm. Because if someone's seen me at the chalkboard, then they've seen me at my absolute best and my absolute worst. So I thought, well, I can really do nothing to make this guy think I'm a total bumbling idiot because he's already seen evidence of that. And he's also seen evidence that I'm pretty darn cool and smart too, hopefully, anyway. This brings us to the first video blog post. I thought that it would be appropriate and sort of break the ice for me and even for you if I told the most bizarre and unusual joke in the universe. This is a joke that absolutely requires video or some sort of face-to-face interaction. So there's no way that this joke can be told via email or even via audio. I figured if I told a joke that was so bizarre and interesting that from this point forward I would never be intimidated again by doing video blog posting, because you've already seen me at the absolute strangest possible moment. So that's why I'm going to do one of my favorite, what I call a see joke, where you have to see with your eyes. One of my favorite see jokes, and it's actually my dad's favorite. So this joke's for you, Pops. There once was a big-eyed, big-mouthed frog, and he was walking through the forest, and he came across an owl. And he says, Mr. Owl, what do owls eat? And Mr. Owl looked at him and said, well, big-eyed, big-mouthed frog, we owls eat little rats and rodents like that and things of the night. And the big-eyed, big-mouthed frog looked at him and said, oh, really? That's neat. And the big-eyed, big-mouthed frog went walking along, and he came across a giraffe. And he looked at the giraffe, and he said, Mr. Giraffe, what do giraffes eat? And Mr. Giraffe, with his long neck, looked down on the little frog, and he said, well, big-eyed, big-mouthed frog, we giraffes eat foliage and trees and things like that that are really high up. And the big-eyed, big-mouthed frog said, oh, really? That's neat. And then he went walking along a little bit further, and he found an alligator. He came upon the alligator, and he said, Mr. Alligator, what what do alligators eat? And the alligator looked at him. Well, we alligators, we eat big-eyed, big-mouthed frogs. And the big-eyed, big-mouthed frog looked at him and said, "Oh, really? That's neat." I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more, sign up for my newsletter, which also gives you special access to a members-only area of the blog. In that area, you'll find coupons for things like Guided Creativity for the Busy Thinker, as well as a free ebook, 47 Polite, Clever, and Bizarre Conversation Starters. The members-only area of the blog will soon have audio and video clips showing demonstrations of the conversation starters. I'm Bon Crowder with Idearella.com, hoping you have a good day and reminding you to stay curious.